Hey, welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. You know what we do here. We talk about religion. We talk about life. We talk about the pursuit of happiness for every man, woman, and child. I am Spencer.
And I am a child of God.
That's it. Do you have a name?
Some days I just go by that.
Okay, how is everyone? We're feeling good. We're feeling kind of good. I mean, where we live, it's pretty intense with the whole COVID thing. Philadelphia just got put on lockdown again.
Raven lost his eye, but it's all right.
Philadelphia got put on another lockdown,
Yeah.
Which means my gym's closing. So you are going to see a very cranky.
No.
You're going to see a very cranky Spencer for the next few weeks. You know why? Because they're taking away what gives me spiritual life. Exercise! No, cut it off. Turn it off. There is no more exercise.
There is. There's just, faced with the challenge, you go. Did you know he lost his eye?
Yeah, I know he lost his eye. Okay? See? I have a little bit of a shorter fuse.
What, did you do it?
Did I do it? No, it's probably because it dropped a million times. I'm sorry, guys. My gym's closed. Okay?
It's okay.
Well, yeah, it's fine.
Wait, I feel like, have we not done a podcast about whatever comes towards you dealing with it?
Yeah, no. Okay.
Maybe you should watch our podcasts.
Yeah, maybe I should,
Maybe.
I'm a hypocrite. Should I watch that? Should I watch that podcast? I'll put it on repeat. I'm not saying I'm mad, but I'm saying, yes, I'm a little frustrated that my gym's closed. And then you're going, oh, his eye's falling out. His eye's falling out. I know his eye's falling out.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know. Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Say, I get it.
I get it.
Are we recording? Okay.
Okay, so
everything.
My gym's closed. I'm not going to let it bother me, though.
No.
The Lord gave me legs and arms. I don't need fancy equipment. I don't need fancy weights. I got everything I need right here.
That's right.
So, what are we talking about today on this somber day in the Philadelphia area?
It's not somber.
What are we talking about?
Okay. If you did watch all our podcasts.
All? How many? 18 of them. This being the 19th. I haven't said what episode
No,
it
you
is.
didn't.
It's episode 19.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, bam.
Right. So if you have watched them, you will have seen in the 18 previous that quite a few times, not quite a few, more than a couple times, I say trigger warning, trigger warning. Okay. There's different things that I've said it for, and sometimes it's, not that serious. But I said this whole podcast is going to have a trigger warning before you even open it, because we're going to talk about suicide.
What?
And we're going to talk about suicide because people don't think you should talk about suicide.
Yikes.
But we're going to do it here. It's not a yikes. To say yikes is part of the problem. Last podcast was laughter, and today's suicide, and that's how life is. One day this and one day that. But we're not afraid to talk about it, and it has to be talked about.
Yourself.
Has to be talked about.
Okay.
And you have talked about it. Literally, when you said that Judas killed himself, we don't have to keep saying trigger warning because it's going to be on the main title. I don't know if I forgot that or what, but I did forget it. So when you said it, I said, wow, that's intense. But it is true. Judas did kill himself in despair of when he felt that he was the reason that Jesus would go to death.
Okay. I know I never know the topic, but
we can do
a little warning would have helped.
No.
That's fine. All right, folks. Not so much laughter today.
No, but don't even think. Yeah, we're going to be respectful, but we don't have to be morose. That's what we talked about before. That
I don't know what morose means.
Morose is like we don't have to be so cautiously quiet and eyes down and volume down and no mirth.
Okay.
Because yesterday, whatever day, I don't know when these different days happen, but you said if you had died, you wouldn't want us to see. I can't say it. if you died, you wouldn't want to see us depressed.
Yeah.
And I know it is different with suicide, but same thing. Like, we're still alive.
Okay, that's fine. Today's topic is suicide. I'll take the charge. I'm not going to be morose. I'm not going to sugarcoat my beliefs. I'm going to come out strong. Swinging. People who commit suicide do not go to hell. Hot take. Or not hot take, because I don't think they go to hell. What are you doing?
I was quietly clapping.
Oh, that's my belief. You know what? I'm gonna get opinionated on this podcast.
It's yours.
This is my platform. If you don't want to hear my opinions,
Look at the other 18 podcasts that we made.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we don't talk about suicide every podcast.
No, we don't.
It's this one.
We're gonna talk about it. I don't think if you kill yourself, you go to hell. I know a lot of churches, it's one of the biggest sins because you're taking away a life. I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong to think that. I think it's wrong to enforce it in the way of you lose credibility in burials and kick rocks. Everyone in life goes through trials and tribulations. And life can be hard. And, okay, I don't know how to put this. People that get mad at people who kill themselves get me so mad. Because, not mad, like, you know, it's understandable if someone close to you ends their own life, and then you're like, you idiot, why would you do that? That's fine. But I'm saying these people who don't have a sort of they look down on it, like...
They're disappointed.
Yeah, like, oh, really? You killed yourself?
Yeah.
And I always hate it, because you're saying in your own brain, there's no reason for anyone to kill themselves. I've gone through struggles, and I didn't kill myself. And it's like you're coming at it with a normal way of thinking.
Right.
You're trying to understand abnormalities in the brain not work properly through a brain that works well. And it's like
right.
I can't understand, and that's what so many judgments come from. But I don't understand it. And it's like, you wouldn't. And the reason you don't understand it is great. Good for you. And that's why you'll never kill yourself. But don't go looking at someone and say, why would they kill themselves?
Right.
That was a sin. You don't know what that person was going through.
No.
And I'm not just saying in their life experience. That you might have gone through worse life experiences with a different brain. They had a brain that was putting themselves in a very dark place where, unfortunately, they saw the only way out was an escape from life.
Right.
And with that brain chemistry and all that, how are you going to tell me God, the God who's all forgiving, all loving, I think he'd be more compassionate. Like, how sad that his child, Jesus, God, the child, was going through something so much that they could not take it anymore and they took their own life. And you're going to say, he then says, you're no child of mine.
Right.
The whole thing was looking for the sheep who was lost.
Doesn't make
sense. How much more lost can you get? Now, like, if we're talking pre-suicide, that's one thing. Like, oh, I recommend finding God, finding your path again. But after the unfortunate, the worst thing that someone could do is kill themselves, then you're going to say, like, I think I always think of God as a father, right? And obviously, I feel like it's pushed so hard. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Just because of that love and like the praying to find your way and then like find the right way. But in anything, you know, what a real father would do is like you can be super stern until something happens, and then it's not. Well, they did it. Yeah. It's no. Then that's where the sorrow comes in of like not a excommunication. Like, you can have someone, don't kill yourself, and then they kill themselves like, well, I told you so. That's it. No, it's a, oh my God, my poor child.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You wouldn't be mad at other ailments, you know, like, I'm so mad that this person went blind, or I'm so mad that, you know, this person was unable to do something, you know, but a suicidal person, it's, and, you know, yesterday I spoke about just crimes, you know, and how the spirit is incorruptible. and the body does things. So the spirit of the person was didn't do the physical part of this person couldn't withstand what they were going through.
Yeah.
And so the physical person ended the physical body, but the spirit that was created by the creator is still there.
Yeah. I think there, like, I don't get there's of the condemnation. It's like, I feel like it's such a circumstance where compassion is the most important thing that's needed, and yet in these circumstances is when you have the most condemnation, where it's like it's weird.
Because like I said, I was in grief support for a while, and you know, the survivors, the people who lost somebody to suicide, they always feel like they're in a separate category, and that's valid. They feel separated from grieving people whose child had cancer or whose husband was hit by a car. And part of the reason is obvious, because
it's frowned upon.
Yeah, like what you're just saying. Because not only are you dealing, okay, my husband was hit by a car. If you say my husband killed himself, whether it's true or not, you just feel so insecure that the person is now judging you, you know, and saying, what did you see? And did you contribute? And why would he do that to you? Yeah. So the mental anguish is just heaped on, you know, with this extra embarrassment even.
And that's the other thing.
But they shouldn't. I mean, I'm against this.
And that's the other thing about this condemnation. Like, you know what? Kick rocks, all you people who are so condemning. Because you know who's that person I believe is in heaven. You know what I mean? They've lost that baggage that they've had.
Right. Broken. It was broken.
Yeah, on earth. And they are at peace.
Yeah.
But to condemn that child, that husband, that wife, look what you're doing to the families. And you call yourself a Christian?
Yeah.
Kick rocks. That's what I say. I say kick rocks.
Kick rocks. Kick a rocks.
All of them.
So we definitely are in agreement that suicide is just another ailment that a human can have. Not suicide, but the mental illness that would lead you there is another ailment. And it is a mystery to me. Cancer is a mystery to me. Yeah. You know, or anything that could happen to anybody on earth. I don't know how it happens, and is so much of it is regrettable to me. But definitely the spirit went to heaven. Yeah.
But I think, I don't know. I think a lot of maybe the condemning comes from a fear of people you love and around you to kill him. Like, I mean, in a way, I can see the, don't ever do this, because you don't want it to ever.
You don't want to make the choice easier for them.
Yeah.
So you think.
Yeah. So you think, and I think, first and foremost, suicide is never the solution. No. Like, there is, like, we are put on earth to experience a full life and get a full life of experiences. And we go through the darkest of times, and I think it's good to find God and push through it, or just anything, and to push forward, to live your fullmost life, and that's how you benefit the most from Earth.
Yes. That's
first and foremost. And so I think maybe some of it comes from this, if you tell people they're going to go to heaven if they kill themselves, they're all going to kill themselves.
Right.
And no,
it's fear-based. It's a slippery slope. People think it's a slippery slope. If the parishioners don't see that casket can't come in the church because they killed themselves, then they will all be dissuaded from. But that type of argument is the same thing. Like if we ban gay marriage, then people won't think it's fun to be gay. You know. Yeah. Gays will still be gay, whether it's allowed or not, and people will still kill themselves, whether it's allowed or not. But I do wish with all my heart and soul to prevent people from killing themselves. Absolutely. Yeah. Pray that they can have a pathway that's not going to be the outcome. Yeah. But if it is the outcome, they are going to heaven and their loved ones need not hang their heads or beat themselves up.
Yeah. And I think that's like one of the reasons wrong. Like, you come from a super religious family. How are you going to, people of power, to position a mother to have ingrained in her that, oh, my daughter is in hell right now because she ended her own life. And guess what? Like I said already, like when someone kills himself, it's so much of they were lost.
Right.
Like, it's not, oh, I found out that my daughter was killing all the dogs in the neighborhood.
You with the dogs again.
You know why? It's because I was thinking about it. I love dogs so much that
really?
When I think of like the cardinal crime of just pure hatred,
I don't know.
Because even not saying anything about murder people is worse than dogs. So I'm saying there can be emotion behind it and that, but just to murder dogs would just be out of pure hate, I think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like,
because you didn't have a relationship with it.
Yeah, it's not like you wronged me. A dog can't wrong you.
Okay.
So
you can...
so if you find out your daughter's murdering dogs, and it's like you have to live with that. Like, oh wow, like she had that in her. And I'm not saying if you murder dogs, there's not also a chemical imbalance and you can still not go to heaven. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying, how are you going to be put in a position like that where it's, my daughter was so lost?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't an external, oh, she was living a bad life. She could have been living a great life, being charitable, actually probably doing more, trying to fill this hole that she can't fill because it's mental.
Right.
It's a mental imbalance.
Right.
And she was so lost that she resorted to one of the worst things you can resort to, which is suicide. And then to have to feel like,
right,
you know, she didn't murder anyone, but just as bad. Like,
right,
get out of here.
Yeah, why did they do that? So it is sad to hear that anyone died, but you do feel so sad when you hear that someone killed themselves because you think it's preventable. Like if someone died of cancer, I wouldn't say like, damn it, if I had only made the cure. But if I hear that someone killed themselves and I knew the person, I think to myself, could I have called them?
Yeah.
Could I have invited them?
Yeah.
When it's the same as trying to get a cure for cancer. Like I would love if they didn't take on guilt about it.
Yeah. No, it's not good to hold that guilt because it can eat you up inside. And I think, it's obviously treat everyone in a way that you can feel confident. Like, you don't want to live your life in a way that obviously, and you're gonna get mad at people and you're gonna call them out, but treat everyone in a good way, and then you can feel better about leaving your mark on the earth and your mark on people. But in no way put the blame upon yourself, because whatever that person's going through, you won't be able to tangibilize. And it was not just one thing. Like whatever. Like I obviously am not a scientist when it comes to suicide, but I imagine a lot of the times it's a long-term thing of the last resort. Like literally I've lived this kind of I felt like this for so long, and I see no other escape. Right.
And we're talking about people giving sympathy to the people who are left alive and have to find out about it, deal with it for the rest of their lives. But how about when the grieving person is angry at the dead person? So like if my father killed himself and I'm so mad at him for doing that to me, for being weak, for leaving me, I do have suicide in my life. I have my uncle committed suicide. My cousin's son committed suicide. And then there's people who aren't as close. But I do know that there's an anger from people at what would you say?
I think that's just a part of grief. Like, isn't that actually one of the things of grief is anger?
But I mean, I don't know if you're so angry if someone dies of cancer.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
But I think
you feel betrayed. You feel like, oh, you got it easy. You left. You did. So even if you believe in heaven, you go, oh, you went to heaven.
Or just how could you do this to me?
Right. You went to heaven and you're fine, and I'm here and we have 6 kids. Or you left me with bills. Or just you left me with the pain. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, I obviously, you know, everyone goes through grief their own way, but I think just in the sense of that, it's just part of understanding that it's if you could turn back time, you know, you would wish things went differently. But it's another thing. I think it's a good time to have God in your life.
yeah.
I think it's.
I really don't know how you'd go through it without God.
Yeah, and that's a lot of these terrible situations is what brings people closer to God, which is unfortunate that something that grave had to happen to get you closer to God. But in the same sense, it's good that you find that outlet. And one of the reasons why I always say it's good to have like to remember. I said I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus, but primarily I don't push Jesus Christ on people. I do push like having like some kind, like believing in something higher, whether it just be a nameless God or the universe and its
that's how AA is. Yeah. Alcoholics Anonymous. They don't call it anything, but they want you to have a higher power.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think that's so important, especially with like, you know, because we're talking about people who've killed themselves, but anyone who's going through depression or just feel this feeling of loss, which, you know, may lead down the line to suicide. I think it's so important just to have a higher power, to have that comfort, to you know, like, it's easy to say everything gets better, but a belief in someone who's watching over you,
right, truly
makes you feel it, rather than a TV commercial saying it gets better, and it's right. You don't know my life.
Yeah.
I think a belief in someone who's like, no, this person does, you know, like God does know your life, and he knows what you're going through, and he knows you're strong enough to overcome it, is so important.
Right.
And so that's also one of the reasons why, like, could I go around saying, no, Jesus Christ is the only way, blah, 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 but who am I doing a favor to? Other Christians? That's it.
Right.
Like, how many people am I converting? But there's so many people, especially in this new younger generation, who don't have that strict religious background that, you know, some of the older generations have, and so they get this more feeling of loss. And so what benefit would it be if I'm like, I'm waving pamphlets on the street saying Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven, Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven? Then this guy's not going to help me. But I think it's just more important on a person to person basis, if you're just pushing this finding peace in a higher power that gives you comfort through the struggles of your own life.
Right. You know, like separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Do you think there's separation of church and mental, mental health management? Like, you know, I would guess that some people in the psychiatric field would say, stop with the, you can't pray the gay away. You know, you can't pray mental illness away.
Yeah.
And then there's strictly spiritual people who say, if only you had, you wouldn't be feeling depressed or down if you gave thanksgiving and you sacrificed, tribulations were blessings. So, like, do you think they run, or can we marry them? Can we all be together?
I think they can be married, and I don't think you should believe in one and not the other. I'm big into the belief in both. Not, it's one of these things where, like, because there's some people who just say, "Oh, the Lord's got me.
Right.
Coronavirus can't touch me because God's on my side." And it's like, I always think back to this story. I don't know if it's directly correlated, but I'll get to my point, where there's a man drowning in the ocean, and he's a religious man. He's like, "Oh, God will save me." And then a small boat pulls up, and then they're like, "Oh, hop in." He's like, "No, don't worry about me. God will save me." Mm-hmm. And then, like, a freight liner comes, and then the Coast Guard comes, and each time he's like, "No, God will save me." And then he drowns, and then he goes to heaven, and God's like, "Why did you not get on the boats I sent you?" And so I always think that when people are like,
I pray, but I wear a mask.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I think it's this partnership of, like, he's got you, but you still need to be doing the earthly groundwork.
Right.
He'll set you a path. He'll give you a way. And I lost my train of thought.
No, because God would have created the scientists and the medication, right?
Yeah. So I think it's important to not be like, "Oh, I don't need to worry. Like, I don't need to take antidepressant pills because of God or whatever." But I also think so much things in religion are great in doing these medical things without realizing it. I always say it about penance or confession. I'm like, you know what that has been forever is a therapist.
Yeah, free therapy.
It's literally like, what is a therapist?
Yeah.
You're paying somebody to talk to about your problems and offer you like just this feeling of getting off your chest.
Right.
And they can't speak to anyone. You know, that patient doctor.
Yeah, they don't throw a net over you or like, guess what he just did?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And it's so many things like in religion that are like that, where you are doing this religious thing, but in a way you're getting this earthly mental health benefit. Like if you go to confession every Sunday and you're venting your problems and things you're going to a therapist.
Yeah.
And there's so like I can find a million correlations, but
even praying, literally God is my therapist.
Yeah.
I also have an actual therapist, so I'm not saying don't, give up one for the other, but my actual therapist, that's once a week, right? God, he 24/7, and I can talk to him. And if you see even therapists on TV and stuff, you know how they don't say anything, like, they're letting you talk it out. They're letting you work.
That's a lot of what it is.
So when I'm praying to God,
yeah,
and I'm talking to him like a regular person, and I'm saying, I'm so worried about coronavirus, or I'm so, it's helpful. It really is helpful.
Yeah. And so I think it's important to marry the two. I think either one, you're good. Like it gives you a very good footing.
Yeah, the one is 0. You're not doing psychiatric and you're not doing church, and you are just literally alone. You don't have to be, but you know.
And so so picking, if you're just religious, that's good. If you're just a medical mind, that's good. You'll get benefits if you're going through something. But if you have both, I think there's nothing more powerful, and there's nothing you can get past. Like, I'll never say, oh, you know what? You should just drink more water and go on a run if you're depressed. Go get medically prescribed pills if that's what you need. And then I also have this, and also, pray and work on your physical health. Try to do all these things on both sides of the spectrum to give yourself the best fighting chance. But
yeah, I remember that with my mom who had cancer, and she was going obviously to an oncologist at the best hospital in Philadelphia, but she was interested, like, what about holistic, what about this kind of medicine? And the doctor was like, do it. Yeah. Absolutely do it. Like, don't stop coming to me. Yeah. But sure, do everything you can do.
Yeah.
And then if the outcome, none of this is a magic bullet.
No.
You could be doing all of the things and it still might not work out. But that is the constant lesson of being spiritual on this earth, is that sometimes, no matter what you've done, you went to the shrine and you went to, the best hospital and you did everything. It just didn't work out. And then that's when you need the strength of God most of all to help you accept the outcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are all the people around the suicidal person. Do we have any words of encouragement to people who feel suicidal? We're not doctors.
Well, I thought that's what we were just talking about.
Oh, we were?
No, but we can talk about it again. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, I see. I thought you were saying, like, if somebody, I see, you're saying if I wanted to do therapy and do church. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I was saying, it's important to have a higher power for that if you're going through something. But
I guess less vague, I was thinking, like, when you said be spiritual, how can I? Like, I'm here right now, what should I do? Should I read the Bible? Like, I'm
if you're going through,
I'm going through it. What should I do?
No, even that's what I'm saying. I'm not for this push, because especially you're on a thin wire talking to someone who is feeling lost as it is. And well, if I were you, honey, I would read Corinthians 7:12 and you'll be all right. No, like even if I was that person, and even if it wasn't as grand scale as talking about severe depression, I'd be like, thanks for nothing. I was coming here for your help, and you threw a Bible verse at me. You threw scripture at me, because I think all of those things, I put them on a pedestal, you know this, but it's this, just get a personal connection with God. You and God. Don't bring Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John into it. Just between you and God through prayer, I think that's the most important thing. Because in this prayer, what you do is you just call for strength.
Yeah.
You call for, give me strength, give me guidance.
Yeah.
I'm going through something. And then, as hard as it is, I think it's good to then push yourself a little bit in a physical way. You know, like obviously go to a special, go to therapist. That's all great, and get your medicine. But I think so much of it, because you know, it's one of these things that, like just someone who's going to quit drinking alcohol.
Okay.
You can tell them, go to an AA meeting, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it comes down to that person.
Yeah.
It's up to that person.
Yeah. You'll
And
be alone sometime.
Yeah. And so for people going through it, it's up to you. And so even if you feel the end of your rope, just give it one last ditch effort. Like, find this connection with God, call on Him for strength, and then push yourself just a little bit. I think it's so important just to push yourself. Do a little exercising.
Yeah.
Like, do these things.
Try to break that.
Yeah.
That circle of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And use it.
Take the cold shower that you talked about.
Yeah.
Like something to.
I'm not saying be happy. Oh, you're depressed. Be happy. No. There's times when I'm down in the dumps, and just the way I use up here as motivation, I use down here as motivation. You know, if I've said this before, I don't know if this is good advice. This might be terrible advice, but it's very bad to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But if you have, but I think there's science behind self-harm in the sense of you feel physical, you feel in control of that. Like, it's something that you're in the control. You're like, you have all these mental feelings that you're not in control of.
Right. And
so that little pain gives you this feel of control. And what I find is you can get that same type of pain through working out without realizing it. Like,
right.
And it's good. I'm not advocating self-harm, but I'm saying use this negative energy, like this negative feelings that you might have in your heart, and push yourself in that way.
Yeah.
You want to feel something? Go push yourself to run and
put it off. Just put it off. Yeah. You know, you talked before, like when you write something and then you're like, I'll sleep on it. Just put off those feelings for a minute. Yeah. And do something.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. And so if
every time, just put it off.
Yeah. If you're feeling just down in the dump, go on a run until your legs feel like they're going to fall off.
Why not?
And your heart's burning.
If you're going to kill yourself, what's the problem if your legs fell off? So just...
That's aggressive.
It is aggressive, but what I'm saying is when people say, I'm going to kill myself, and then I go, no, why don't you do this? And it's like, well, I might faint. I might... Well, you just said you're going to kill yourself.
And that's what I... Like,
push.
Yeah. In the exercise podcast, I said, don't overexert yourself. Overexert yourself. Like...
At that point, yeah.
Tear your... Because it's one of these things where you... And then, like, this is the way I think of it, is like, if you're in that low, like I said, use that low to try to get you out of it. But instead of like actual self-harm, it's, you don't even realize, but this entire time you're using those negative energies, like you're sad. You can be crying when you're going on a run, but all of these things are benefiting you, even though you're using that negative energy.
You want time. You want keep accruing time. Yeah. And
this combination of prayer and trying to find your way.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be quiet. It doesn't have to be, if you are it's such a state that you're suicidal, it's probably not time to be like, oh, I'm finding the peace. You're at a critical point, so you have to act critically.
And so take a trip. I don't know. So you push yourself, and so this entire time you're praying, you're asking for strength, but you're using that negativity, and you're like, oh man, I'm pushing my body to its limits because I don't care.
Right.
I don't care about my body. Blah blah blah. And then I'm not saying it's foolproof, but if it helps one person, it helps one person, and it pushes you out of this.
That's right.
And then you start feeling good, and then maybe running starts becoming your thing.
Yeah.
And then you start. And then somewhere along the lines, all these negative feelings start dwindling off, and
Right.
it's getting replaced by these powerful feelings.
Right.
And when at first you were using exercise or whatever you want to substitute it with as sort of, in a way, detrimental to yourself, like,
Right.
oh, I don't care. Then you start getting emboldened by it, and then with that power, that God's giving you every day, then you start attributing it to it.
Right.
And then you might find a whole new persona. You might link up with other people who run, and then they look at you like, oh, you're the runner girl, and it's like, yeah, it's just one of these things where it's like, if you're at that, yeah, like you said it right. If you're at that pivotal thing of doing something drastic, do something what do you got to lose? Like you said, if your lungs feel like you're on fire, I promise that's better than doing something drastic.
Right.
So,
yeah, I saw something on Instagram and it said, like, if you want to kill yourself, instead of ending your whole life, why don't you just end the life you've been living?
Yeah.
So how you said you would reinvent yourself as now you're a runner or whatever you want to be. You could be now you're a go-go dancer. You could you want to do something different.
Yeah. And, and just with all of it, I feel like, so like there's a lot of feelings of someone who's suicidal might say, but the pain still won't go away. Like the pain in my heart, the pain in my head. And they're like, I feel like it's just important to
give yourself a chance.
Like
when you talked about the boat, you really like just let the punchline trail away, really. But
oh, did I?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Once he got to heaven, God said, I sent you all these boats. Why didn't you get in any of them? And he said,
yeah, something like that. Well, I was thinking, when you're praying, you said you're praying for strength or something. And I thought, let God put those boats in your life.
Yeah.
So when you say, God, help me, the heavens aren't going to open up and he's going to reach down and be like talking to, but if you go somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Because you will find God, these people or angels he's placed for you. So the person could be at CVS. The person could be, don't be afraid to talk to people. It's like, I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to tell people what I'm feeling. And you might say, I've been to 1 million doctors and I hated all of them. Mm-hmm. You don't know if the next one is going to be someone who knows exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So let God find these Easter eggs that God is leaving. Keep talking to people.
Yeah.
You talk to 100 people and they all said, who cares? You're a drama queen. We think you're seeking attention. Talk to the next person. Say, I don't feel like I want to be here anymore. The help will be there. And one more thing when saying about speaking to God. I just read somewhere in the Bible, but as usual, I don't know where, but it said, maybe it was one of the Psalms, because there's some complaining Psalms, and it was saying, like, when you're so mad at God.
Yeah.
So even if you're shouting at him, even if you're mad at him, mm-hmm. you're communicating. You're admitting he exists.
Well, there's a lot of research to go in the Psalms about how David might have had some mental health issues. Because there is some Psalms where he sounds like he could be severely depressed and maybe a little bipolar. But all of it is this talk with God. And I always say a lot of the Psalms, they transition from this, everyone's staring at me like no one likes me, I don't even know why I'm alive, to I remember why I'm alive because God is great and he's going to do good things for me, and there's a reason why I keep on keeping on.
Right. So if you are in a bad place and you want to be mad at God and say, why is this happening to me? And I feel life is unfair. Somewhere in you that you're talking to him. So that means he's there and you're not alone.
You're not alone.
And he can help you through.
And he can help you through.
He will.
And he will.
He will help you through.
He will help you through.
Spencer, everything I said you repeated. Echo.
No, but it's still, because you know why? It's all true. It's like, as bad as it gets, if you have God in your life, then you will be able to get through, right? Like,
yes. And
just even if every day is an internal battle, give me the side that has God on it. You know what I mean? Like, look at, if you want to look at the Bible, look at all the battles where God said, hey, I'm on your side. Would they be bloody battles and you didn't always get
It's
out?
going to be ugly, maybe. It's going to be messy, but
didn't always think they make it out. But
he's there.
My money was on whatever side God has. So every day might be a battle, and then just go a day at a time. Win that battle, win the next one, win the next one after that.
Right.
Keep going. As like I said, God never lost.
So don't be embarrassed if someone you know killed themselves. Don't be embarrassed if someone you know is suicidal. Don't be embarrassed if you're suicidal, or vice versa. I could do all the combinations.
Yeah.
It is an ailment.
Yeah. Like it's mental health. It's mental health.
Like so many ailments.
It's brain wiring. Don't be hard on yourself. Like, why am I having these thoughts? It's because your brain's wired differently, and it's important to seek help from that, because you don't want to do something that just a misfire caused you to do. You know, you want to nip that in the butt. If you start having thoughts, having feelings, get the old cronium checked out. It's fine. It's like do you get embarrassed when your car engine starts making the weird popping sound? No, you take it to the mechanic before you're on the highway and it breaks down.
I like that.
Yeah. You hear a noise, you go and fix it. Our brain's the most important part of our body. Keep it tuned up and well oiled.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to go to the mechanic.
Your car's trying to kill itself.
All right. That's our podcast.
God loves all of us.
God loves all of us.
No matter what we're doing or going through.
God loves all of us. He wants us all to live and win our own battles. And it's important to care about your body and try and live the best life that you can live.
And we're all going to the same place at the end. Just take your time here.
Just take your time.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
Spencer. And you can laugh. Always be happy. That was yesterday's, but still, don't, you know what I mean? Be proud, no matter what is going on, what you're going through or what you're a part of.
Yeah.
You be proud. You keep your head up.
Head up.
Head up, everybody.
Chin up.
Chin up. Look up.
Smile.
Look at God.
God's smiling down on us. Smile up back up at Him.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's our podcast. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
We're counting down to his departure to Florida and to Thanksgiving.
Yes, I'm going to Florida in a week, but hopefully we make enough videos that you guys won't be without this pretty face for the whole week.
Yeah. So, we still have more to go.
Well, that's that. Wait. What episode is this? 19?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's episode 20.
2 decades. I know you
Are you going to do another painting?
I don't know.
You did one for 15. I feel like we're owed one.
I feel like shouldn't I be doing it at 25?
We do a lot of I was thinking you do every 5. I thought you were going to do every podcast since the first one, but
I'm insecure.
But,
all right, it'll be abstract.
5. Every 5.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Like, subscribe, and share with your loved ones. Peace.